everybody, and welcome back to another progress update about the Mozart. Now, first of all, I want to apologize for the lack of uploads recently. That is because life has gotten a little more stressful again recently, and I was hoping to record more, but I just never found the time to do it, so sorry about that. But instead, I've been working on the Mozart a lot more, and I'll be showing you what I've been working on and how far I've come. So, anyways, let's begin. First of all, as you can see, the upper decks and everything is a lot more finished. As beforehand, everything was still very empty and bare bones, as I was focusing more on the rough structure of everything and not the details. But I finally decided to, finish all the details and make the exterior basically complete. And so that's all one thing I've been working on. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff here, but I'm not gonna go into too much detail today, as it's just a progress update. That'll be for the in-depth series when the ship gets finished. Now, going into the interior directly, again, as you can see, not a lot has changed, but as you can see, I've done some minor things. As you can see, I added a hallway here just for the sake of accessibility, as you would have had a hard time walking around this massive well here if you didn't have this hallway. So in an emergency situation, now you don't have that problem anymore, and you can walk around a lot easier. So that's one of the small updates I've done in the last few weeks. And as you can see, I also updated this area, the gallery. I'm not sure if this was already there last time, but as you can see, everything looks like this. This is the gallery. You just saw the reading and writing room. Over here is the children's playroom. Then we have the aft staircase with a beautiful stained glass window, which is a little bit of a new design idea I've come up with recently. So I'm gonna be using that a lot, because you might have noticed, but my ship was actually reviewed in the Let's Show that Chronostaff has been doing in the last few weeks, and I took a lot of the advice he said in that video to heart. One of the biggest problems I believe everyone had with the Wilhelm he reviewed is that it was all very enclosed and small, and I didn't take a lot of advantage of the space I had, so I definitely tried to change that with this class. As you can see, I aired out everything. Everything's a lot more obvious, so you don't have to walk through passenger hallways to get to the important rooms, and everything is also, if it's not obvious, things are also labeled, so you can find your way around. As you can see down here on A deck, we have the Winter Gardens, the Tudor one and the Versailles one, very nice. As you can see, mainly we have the Colorado Lounge. Now this was definitely not in the last video, since I believe it was still in the construction, but as you can see, this one's a little more comfortable than on the Wilhelm, so it's not 3 decks high or something like that. I decided to go a little more comfy and I guess rural with this design, with a nice mural on the ceiling and a little bit of a bandstand over here with a nice stained glass window, which was added later actually. And yeah, this is the lounge. It also has some extra exits over here added later on. We have some hair salons, and we have the aft grand staircases again, as you can see. We have some stores over here too, so this is a nice features which many ships of this area probably didn't have, and that's a little bit of a shopping mall area, which is nice. It's also, you can also see here's a little bit of promenade space, which is always nice. Now looking down here, this well has been mostly expanded before I finished this space. There was a dome here separating the two rooms, but I opened that up again so I can take advantage of the space I have and make everything a little more connected. And yeah, I think it was a nice choice. And as you also can see, the dining room's done. It's nothing really that special. I tried to not go overboard with it. As you can see, it has a lot of space. That's because there's a lot of first class passengers, where 1,000 is what I'm going for about. And as you can see, they also have a very nice reception room over here with a purser's office, which is obviously standard, and also the aft grand staircase, which is a little unusual. I know that the reception room is at the aft end of the first class, but hey, sometimes some unusual stuff can work out pretty well, so How about that? And over here we actually have some private dining halls, as you can see. So you can book these for if you have like a party, or you want to just talk privately during dinner. You can book these. These are a little bit old, I guess, since it's more of a Kaiser class style thing in the late 1800s, so it's not exactly a modern thing at all, but I decided to add them because they are indeed a nice feature. And something you also have here is a pub, which is very rare on ships like these, so of course I wanted to have one. This is where you can get your drinks specifically, so if you're a fan of drinks of many types, you can definitely go here. Now next, as you can see, I have some cabins I've already built, but I'm not gonna go into that yet. That's because, as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, things are labeled a lot more clearly now. So as you can see, these hallways actually have cabin numbers too, and each cabin will be receiving a cabin number, which is gonna be a massive undertaking, but I feel like it's gonna be worth it. So the bookings with the cabins will be easier for everyone, and it's also, I guess, a nice little detail that normally isn't you don't normally have on a custom ship of this size, so I wanted to add that, which just because, why not, you know. And this is a simple first class cabin, you know, the standard BB cabin design with a nice bathroom and a second cabin adjacent to that one, both sharing a bathroom, since this is around 1920, so shared bathrooms are starting to become a lot more common, so that's why those got a semi-private bath. And now going lower into first class, we have the Turkish baths, which is almost always one of my favorite parts of the ship, because who doesn't like a spa area? This is the cooling room. As you can see, these rooms are actually very inspired by the Olympic class, since I like those designs very much, and I wanted to take the best of those designs and include them here and upscale them. So as you can see, the cooling room from the Olympic and Titanic has been embiggened and also upgraded a little bit here, and yeah, it's very nice. It's a big space, and it also directly connects to the temperate room over here, which is pretty similar in size to the one on the Olympic class, but it's in and also has the same design, as you can see, which because I like this design a lot. And obviously adjacent to that we have the hot room and steam bath in the very wooden aesthetic you would have those in. And also you have the main swimming bath. Now this is where I kind of strayed from the inspiration a little bit, because of course here during this time swimming baths were getting a lot more elaborate, and the Olympic class wouldn't have cut it at all anymore, so I had to go all out on it, and I made it a 1.5 deck design, with like it partially going onto F deck, as you can see, with some ribbing down below. And yeah, directly beneath it is the coal bunker, by the way. So this is a very interesting design choice I went for, but I really wanted that ceiling height to be very tall, so I needed to have this section of the room a little lower, so had to compromise a little bit. And you also have some stalls over here with obviously the shower too, so that's a little bit of an idea I got from the Olympic class, obviously, and because you kind of need that. Now below that there's nothing special. As you can see, I'm still working on some cabins down here. As you can see, the bow ones are actually completed, and once again you can see like all the labeling and everything. It's very elaborate with all the where the even and odd numbered cabins are, and what exceptions to that rule there are, and yeah, what cabins are on this deck. So here it's F31 till F56, so that's a lot of cabins here in this section. And as you can see, you even have some ash rooms I've already built. These probably will be redone at one point. And yeah, that is basically first class and everything you need to see there. So we're gonna move back to D deck, which is the most completed deck on the entire ship, because it's almost completely done, like 90%. You can see that on this progress plan I made recently, and yeah, it's very nice. I might be doing this more often to show how complete or how far I am on the ship, so you guys can know more frequently where I'm up to. And yeah, as you can see, the galley is complete. This was a fun space to build, surprisingly. Like, you know a lot of shipbuilders that hate building galleys because you're like, what does it need? And you just like to throw in some ovens and be done with it already. I'm not one of those people. I love these utilitarian spaces that basically pride themselves on functionality only and that don't have to do anything with beauty and cosmetics. It's only functional, and I love that about them because there's a lot to talk about, and they're also very elaborate in some corners. For example, here's a little feature, this fake wall here, which also existed on the Olympic class in a slightly smaller way, is so you can't see the galley staff working when you're eating in the dining hall, which is very obvious. You don't want to have to watch the people work when if you're like a first class passenger that just wants his quiet time when eating, you know. So this is why these barriers were installed on the Olympic class too, but the walls were just so like 2x3 walls like these with like the slabs. But here I also added doorways to make the wall more complete. So that's what I added, and as you can see, you have some utilitarian rooms, you have some storerooms, you have some specialized rooms, you have the salad pantry, you have the confectionery, you have the meatery, and you also have the baker's shop, the baker's oven shop. As you can see, it's all very elaborate, and there's a lot of rooms. You also have a ton of coal stored here. Obviously it's a massive galley, you need a lot of it. You have even more storerooms for all the utensils you might need. You have the scullery for the utensils where they get washed. You have the main first class pantry with the hot presses in the middle. You have even got a wash space. You have some cubby hot press designs too. You have a plate rack over here with like a window where you can take the plates from the utensil rooms, put them here for finishing up, and over here you can go get all the food from the specialized rooms, put them here on this windowsill, and here you can have the food finished up, and then it goes over here onto this ledge, and then it gets served to the first class passengers. And a very similar idea happens here in the over here actually in the second class and third class pantry. As you can see, a very similar setup, roughly the same size, but they are just for second and third class. Over here you have the main galley with all the ovens and stovetops, so it looks a little different. And you also have the restaurant a la carte galley where you have some of the more elaborate foods being prepared. Obviously, you even have like these little walls again for second class, but this time you don't enter the second class dining room immediately. You have this crew corridor access with two hoists and a stairwell going down to the main crew corridor, which I like to call Scotland Road occasionally. And yeah, this is how you get access to it. So if you have produce that needs to go to the galleys, you get it from here. And then you have some cabin spaces for second class too, unimportant. And you also have the gem of for second class. Actually, this is the nicest room of second class, and that's intentional. Like in first class, every room looks absolutely beautiful, it's decked out to the nines. But here in second class, it's only this room that looks this nice, and that's basically the downgrade you have if you buy the cheaper ticket in second class. But of course, I still wanted to give the second class passengers some eye candy to look at, so they got a very elaborate dining room, which is actually not done. As you can see, the upper level is still missing, but the lower level is done. And here you can also see one of the little flukes with the shear, but the shear line almost never was a problem except here, so I'm pretty fine with it since it's only occasionally a problem. You also have the purser's offices for second class, and the entrances. They actually don't get a separate reception room, obviously, since they're just second class. But as you can see, they get a little bit of a lounge up here, they get a reading and writing room and a children's playroom. All is a little bit simpler up here, so it's not all over the top. It's a simple staircase for the simple second class passengers that only get this super nice room over here. And yeah, that's basically second class in a nutshell at the moment. And as you can see, now we're in third class. This is the third class enclosed promenade. And as you can see, we have some crew doors, we have a pantry, we have the third class general room aft. There's also one going to be at the bow. And we also have the aft grand staircase for third class. As you can see, it's actually quite nice for third class. That's because third class is changing in its priorities, since it's no longer like the immigrant class as in the 1920s. That market was going out of fashion. Third class was becoming more for tourists actually, so, and they want some nice rooms too, and so they get a few nice staircases and some nice public rooms too, and this nice enclosed promenade, which is actually very Aquitania like. This is one of the few features that were directly from the Aquitania, and I like that, so I'm obviously included it. This part I'm still working on. It is actually an older version, as this is already a little more done on the server, because this recently just got put on the server again. We have the padded room, and we have the other hospital spaces back here, similar to on the Aquitania again. So that's so that's where much of the inspiration actually came from. But anyways, I talked a lot in this video, but that is basically where I'm up to now. A lot has actually happened, but yeah, there's still a lot to do, so the next few weeks are gonna be very interesting, and I hope I can get a lot of stuff done. But anyways, if you like this video and where I've come to, leave a like, comment down below to your suggestions and stuff. Subscribe if you like this content, and have a good day, everyone.